Guys, if you've been looking for some free-to-play survival games to waste your weekend, I got you covered in today's video. Whether you're into base building, open world exploration, scavenging for scrap, or just vibing alone in the wild, these are 10 of the best completely free-to-play survival games that is totally worth checking out in 2025. I'm starting with a very simple polygon-looking survival game called Teora Beginning. It's a free-to-play sandbox-style open-world survival game with unique characters, building and crafting. You can build and upgrade your own base and survive against this zombie apocalypse. But still, this is an introduction, more like a demo version for their full game called Teora Survival. But given this is a free-to-play game, there are still so much content to be explored here. There's not really a deep story, but just a hint of something big going on in the world, but it feels more like a sandbox. There's a massive open world map to explore. You will gather resources, crafting tools, build and upgrade your home base. There are so many vehicles that you can interact with, so there's a lot of content packed into this small demo version. Definitely a cool free game to check out if you're into more like an open world survival style of games. It's totally free to check out, and also you don't have to have a super high-end PC to play this either. I recently tried out this survival game called Wildlands on the other day. It's actually kinda cool if you're into more chill survival game experience. The game actually made by Bohemia Interactive, the guys who behind like hardcore AAA shooters like Arma. But weirdly enough, this one is completely different, super colorful, cartoonish, casual survival game. You started off stranded on these little islands, and it's all about exploring, crafting tools, building shelters, and surviving storms and wildlife. There's not really a story per se, it's more of a sandbox experience, but the vibe is super relaxed, almost cozy. You can build ships, rafts, travel to other islands, even create your own custom game modes with their editor, which is surprisingly deep. It is definitely not a hardcore survival game like Rust or DayZ. It's more of a creative, open world, sandbox style of adventure that you can try out right now for absolutely free, and also very well optimized for low-end PCs as well. If you're looking for a fun survival game, something quite similar to a game like Rust, but looking for a free-to-play option, our next game called Beach is something you should definitely try out. So Beach is a low-poly open-world survival shooter where you will battle against other players while exploring this massive open world and fight to stay alive. You gotta scavenge for supplies, chop trees, craft tools, and build shelter, classic survival stuff. Also, you can build and fortify your base to defend against other enemy raids, or you can simply go ahead and raid other players' bases to find better loot. The game is actually 3 years old at this point, so nowadays there is not a lot of people playing at the moment, so finding matches, finding servers online can be a challenge. But despite that, it's a pretty cool free-to-play indie survival game to check out right now, especially if you're jumping in with a couple of your friends on board. I'm sure you're gonna have a super fun time playing this. Alright, next up we got something very popular on the free-to-play survival games market, and it is called Muck. Muck is one of those games that feel like it was made as a joke but somehow ended up being actually fun. It's a free-to-play open-world survival roguelike game made by the YouTuber Danny, and the whole thing has this chaotic, goofy vibe that totally works in its favor. You start off stranded on this randomly generated island, and you have to chop trees, mine rocks, and craft tools to survive. Pretty standard survival stuff at first, but every night waves of weird enemies spawn and start attacking you. Then it quickly becomes more about fighting mobs and upgrading your gear than peacefully surviving. There is not much of a story, but you can play through a run and eventually beat the final boss if you last long enough. It got a bit of a roguelike structure. Once you die, the run is over, you have to completely start over again. Extremely fun game to play with friends on co-op. It's super easy to run, low poly visuals, great game to play on a low-end PC. If you're looking for a fun casual survival game to jump in 2025, Muck is still one of the best option you got right now. Next up, we got another awesome indie developed free-to-play survival game called Arid. So in this game, you're basically a pilot in 1930s who crash land into this Atacama desert. Immediately, you have to scramble for water, shade, and shelter. The survival mechanics are pretty straightforward but tense. You have to focus on things like managing your hydration, body temperature, fatigue, sunburn, all while exploring these caves and abandoned mining facilities scattered around the desert. The supplies are very scarce and crafting is pretty much bare bone, I would say. You have to continuously scavenge for sticks, scraps, and mining gear. It gives you a great taste of how hardcore desert survival can be. It's a pretty short game, completely free to play and single player. It's definitely worth checking out in 2025. Moving on to our next game, we got Dead Frontier 2, one of the best free-to-play zombie survival MMOs available on Steam. The game is very straightforward. You drop into this gloomy post-apocalyptic world where everything feels super intense. You have to scavenge for supplies, clearing out buildings, and also dealing with these creepy, slow-moving zombies. It looks easy enough, but things can get pretty intense real fast, especially when you're running out of ammo and there's nobody to help you out. But anyway, in terms of gameplay, it's kind of like an old school Resident Evil game, but of course with an online RPG element. You can level up, upgrade weapons, trade with other players, and also team up with them for missions. The story isn't super deep, but there's a little bit of a quest and lore bit scattered around. It's not the most polished game out there, but for a free-to-play title, it's definitely worth checking out. Plus, it's multiplayer, so it's a good one to play with a couple of friends. Alright, moving on to one of the most popular free-to-play survival games on the market right now, and it is a game called Unturned. It looks like some blocky Minecraft clone at a first glance, but it's actually pretty fun and a very deep survival game. You drop into this post-apocalyptic world filled with zombies, where you have to scavenge for pretty much everything, weapons, food and gear, while trying not to get eaten or shot by other players. The gameplay is actually a mix of PvP and PvE depending on the server. You can build bases, set up traps, raid other players, or just chill in the single player if you don't want that chaos. It's kinda like Daisy, but way less serious and way more fun, especially with friends. There's tons of community made content too, like mods and custom maps. It is hands down one of the most popular free survival games to play right now, with more than 15,000 daily concurrent players. When we're making a video about free-to-play survival games, there are a couple of games that we cannot really forget about. So our next game is a very popular and a very established game called Will to Live Online. It's a post-apocalyptic survival shooter, but it leans more toward the gritty, Eastern European, bleak kind of vibe. Like everything is rusty, radioactive, and just barely holding together. You start off picking a class like shooter, engineer, or hunter, and you're basically thrown into this massive wasteland full of mutants, bandits, random anomalies, and other players. It's kind of a mix of PvP and PvE, and the world is super unforgiving. You'll be looting for scraps, crafting gear, and slowly upgrading your weapons and armor. It's got that clunky MMO feel, but it's all about surviving in this post-nuclear world and uncovering some of the secrets from the past. It's a pretty well established kind of an old game on Steam, but still having about 800 to 1000 people playing. There's a bit of a learning curve, especially if you're a beginner, but still one of the best free-to-play survival MMOs you can play right now on Steam. Moving on to another free-to-play survival game that goes hand-to-hand with our previous one, and this is a game called Stay Out. It's another free-to-play survival MMO set in this post-apocalyptic world, where you play as this little scavenger dude exploring this creepy post-Soviet world filled with mutants, radiation zones, and abandoned bunkers. There's not really a main story, but there are quests and factions you can grind with, so you always ended up doing something like exploring or scavenging. It's a pretty old game. The combat feel clunky at first, but once you get better gear, started to feel decent. There's crafting, trading, looting, and inventory management. There are survival elements like hunger, injuries that will really keep you on your toes. Similar to our previous game, it's not the most easiest game to get into, especially if you are just starting out, but the game is still decently popular on Steam, having about 18,000 people playing at the moment. If you ask someone what is the best free-to-play survival games to came out during the last couple of years, there's no doubt the answer is going to be Once Human. It's another open-world survival MMO, but with this weird cosmic horror twist going on. You drop into this massive post-apocalyptic world where everything have been corrupted by some alien substance called Stardust, and now there are creepy mutants and monsters roaming around everywhere. Gameplay-wise, it got that familiar survival loop. You have to gather resources, craft weapons, build your base, but it also mixes in PvE and PvP zones, quests, dungeon-style areas. You can squad up with your friends or just run around solo. Compared to some of the other survival games, the backstory, even the combat feel pretty tight for a free-to-play game. And I believe they recently added the cross-play between mobile version and the PC version, which is absolutely incredible. It is hands down the most popular free-to-play survival game on Steam right now, having close to like 35,000 daily concurrent players. So if you're into survival games with crafting, massive open world exploration, and creepy monsters, this game is 100% worth checking out. Well, there you have it guys, 10 of the best completely free-to-play open-world survival style of games you can play right now in 2025. If I missed any good free-to-play survival games, definitely let me know down in the comment section, and also let me know what is your favorite game from our today's list. If this video helpful to you, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel. I'll catch you guys soon in my next one. Stay safe.